exactly a hard-hitting piece here, but there's a gentleman, a physician named Jim Dahl, who's a practicing ER doc like myself. And he has, for a long time, done a blog, and I think he's written some books that probably got him his initial recognition. And he goes by the moniker of the white coat investor. So his shtick is that he provides financial advice to physicians, particularly starting in residency and even medical school, but even on through their careers as well, because we're notoriously bad about managing our money. So he's kind of gained a pretty significant following in the medical world through the book and through the blog. And he recently posted an article entitled "Why Tesla Owning Doctors Hate Me." So, you got some pretty good clickbait stuff going on there. And as you read through this article on his blog site, he kind of goes into how a lot of people have tried to rationalize to him their purchase of a Tesla, because he often brings up Tesla as an example of basically a waste of money, or what he sees as bad expenditures. And so it's interesting. He quotes several of the letters and emails and things that he's gotten from people who all try to, say, oh, it's a great car and I love my car and things like that. And I don't know. To me, it was mostly funny and kind of interesting. His takeaway from the whole deal kind of boiled down to the fact that he sees Teslas as a luxury. Basically saying that, look, you're much smarter if you buy, a used Honda Civic. I don't remember which car example he used in his.
No, he thought that was a luxury too.
Yeah, well, to a degree, if you didn't need it. Yeah, I mean, you talk about, if you really want to be smart about things, you move closer to your job and you bike to work and things like that.
Yeah.
But, that there are better ways to spend your money. And in particular, if you need to go into debt, if you need to take a loan to buy a Tesla, you shouldn't be buying a Tesla. There's no way to rationalize the expense as anything but a luxury. And once you have the money to do so, if you can buy it with cash and that's how you want to do your luxuries, he's okay with that. But he just kind of feels like some of the hype around Teslas and the way people have attempted to rationalize it by saying, well, I'm doing it for the environment, or I'm doing it to save the planet, or I'm saving money on gas, or however you choose to rationalize that big expense, really doesn't make sense in a big picture, in that you can do other things that make a hell of a lot more sense. So he compiled at one point in the article a whole list of things that you could do that would make more sense, including like moving closer to work, riding the bus, carpooling, ride a bike, get a really nice bike, buy a 5-year-old Prius, buy a brand new Nissan Leaf or Chevy Volt, buy a bare bones Tesla, or buy a Model X. And you said, obviously the Model X is the $155,000 option, and it makes very little sense to spend that kind of money for the relative amount of environmental impact that you're going to make. So, honestly, none of the letters he posted were truly hate. I think just, people kind of get a little riled up if you make fun of their choices and their purchases that they've made. And so I think that's just kind of what he was sort of pointing out in this thing.
Tesla owners are sensitive? You're shitting me.
This is the first I've heard of that. All right. So this reminded me, one of the very first best things anyone did for me after I graduated college, and it started in the corporate world. This guy I worked with gave me his used copy of The Millionaire Next Door. Has anyone read that? Go find it.
One of the books in the series, yeah.
It's Why I Am the Way I Am.
Yeah. Go get it. And so, one of the things I did, I read that book, The Millionaire Next Door. I watched a lot of Susie Orman. A lot of people disagree with her. I don't care. But it comes down to, if you have the money, I don't care how you spend it. But if you are a financial person giving financial advice, it's hard pressed to have someone convince you that it's a good idea to go in debt for anything. Mm-hmm. And this guy was saying, if like Evan said, if you have the money to go out and buy a $155,000 Model X P100D with ludicrous mode, I don't care. And he even says that. He even says that at the bottom. I don't care how you spend the money you have. But some of the people who wrote in was talking about this. One guy was talking about taking out a loan to buy his Tesla while he was a resident, while he was paying off student loans, while he was doing all this other stuff. And he's like, that's just silly. So I mean, if you take Tesla out of this and replace it with any other high ticket item that could be replaced with a more medium ticket item, I wholeheartedly agree, and I don't think it would be as much clickbait.
Yeah, if you're going into debt and you have other debts to take care of, you can't. I mean, I can't say no, don't do it. That's your own stuff. But at the same time, I can't recommend it. No.
I mean, he talks about purchasing experiences.
Yeah.
He goes out wake boating, whatever the hell that is. He goes hella skiing. He goes, he takes his son on vacation.
Waste boating?
Wake
boarding. Okay.
Yeah. So they don't teach fiscal responsibility anymore. From what I understand, they at least used to teach you how to balance a checkbook in home ec. It's all before my time, but before they screwed it up with my folks, that they actually taught a little bit, not financial responsibility, but at least how to balance your checkbook. So you knew if you were losing or gaining money.
My kids have a required class in high school that they have to take that talks about all these things, investing and writing checks and how to buy insurance and all those things. So it actually is pretty practical. And I think that's a Missouri law, actually, that has to be taught. And I don't remember having anything like that. I mean, okay. So my financial book that was life changing for me was the Rich Uncle, Poor Uncle.
Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Rich Dad, Poor Dad. That was it. Yeah. And that was pretty eye opening to read that. And yeah, I mean, look, it you can spend your money however you want, just appreciating that there will be a consequence for that choice. And if you go into debt early in your life and in your career when you still have other debts, those accumulate. That interest is more money that you will have to pay before you break even and have an opportunity to start packing away money for retirement and for other opportunities and other luxuries that you want to have later on. And I agree. The general premises of this article are reasonable. It's, very clickbaity that he's got Tesla in the title and uses that as his prime example. But if it had been, Porsches that he'd used as his example all along, it'd be no less relevant, the point that he's trying to make in there.